What's up, Matt from Urchfab here. In today's video I'm going to be fitting this AIM MX2 Strada dash to the Turbo Pinto Mk2 Escort project. This has been sent in by long-term channel sponsor AIM, and it's going to be a really nice upgrade in the Mk2. As with all the AIM stuff, it's super high quality, really nicely made. And these displays they're like little TV screens. I've got the same display in my Mini and the larger 10-inch version in the P. So before I even start doing anything, I always plan all the wiring and make sure I know where everything's going. And then what I always say with wiring is just go one wire at a time. You can't really get it wrong. That resistor there is for the fuel sender setup, which I go into a little bit later. That's probably the only bit that's sort of slightly complicated. The rest of it is quite straightforward. That other plug there comes pre-wired, so you've only got the one loom to do. That's the loom finished. I've got a 8-pin DT connector there which connects into the car, which you'll see in a minute. That 6-pin is just spares. The little 2-pin plug there is the CAN high and low, which connects into the Link ECU. That's the expansion port where you can connect any of the other AIM devices into, and that's the little plug-in port for plugging it into your laptop to configure everything. From this point it should just be a complete plug and play setup. Right, so got to remove all this. This is a Race Technologies Dash 2. It's actually pretty good, the spec of the dash, stuff it can do, but the AIM dashes are for sure better, so that's what we're going for. So this is connected via CAN into the ECU as well, but it's currently not reading much of anything. We've got no fuel level, which is obviously problematic. So hopefully by the end of today we'll have everything we need on screen. I've also now got into my ECU and have access to all the top secret information that was hidden on there. Go into that a bit later. First we've just got to strip all this down, basically expose all the wiring. Most of it's under here. The ECU's tucked behind there, glove box up there. As you can see, the wiring is not the neatest. So you've got the Link Fury ECU there. Everything's just sort of slung under it. It's not even fixed in place. So we'll try and tidy some of this up. And then in here we've got all our original wiring and the original dash wiring, which is this, and this is what's going to feed the warning lights, the headlight high beam, low beam indicators, so that all that shows on the dash, so that the dash functions completely normally like a factory dash. So when you turn the ignition on, you've got an oil pressure light, a battery light. When you start the car, those go out. When you have high beam, low beam, all that stuff comes up on the dash. Everything that you get on a factory dash I'll have on the digital dash, along with all the anything I could ever want off of the ECU as well. Got my Deutsch connector on here, which is everything I should need for the dash, other than the CAN connection, which I've still got to do. So now when I plug my little loom in, I should be able to power this up and then send the configuration over if all is correct. Moment of truth. Oh, that's a good sign. So most of the work really with this stuff is in the planning and the configuration on the laptop. None of it comes pre-set because you can use it on anything, any ECU, any car. I probably spent maybe an hour, a bit longer last night on the laptop with the software, just programming everything in. And I always say, like, if you're planning on getting any of the AIM equipment, you can download the software before and learn it and have it all set up and ready before you even get it. My configuration is here, which I've been working on at home, where I can go through and basically set everything up for the display, what I want to see on the screen. You tell it where you want it to read the information from, whether it's the ECU or a wire you've got coming in. And then if I transmit this, our indicators are working. Dip beam, full beam's working. So at this point I need to get the fuel sender calibrated, and this is a little bit of work because you need to take the sender out and do an ohms reading at its minimum and at its maximum, and then use that reading to calculate what size pull-up resistor you need to use so that the dash will get the correct voltage signal. But my sender here, you can see, is getting some really weird readings. It should be around 10 ohms full and around 80 ohms empty, and I'm getting all sorts of weird readings on it. So I decided to take it apart and just have a look inside. There's not much to these, so I thought it would probably be visible what was wrong. That you can see you've just got a winding that goes from sort of thick to thin, and the resistance increases as you move up and down that winding, and basically the wire just gets longer or shorter from the point you're reading it. So I checked the wire wasn't broken in that part of it, and just cleaned everything up, and then I came to the conclusion that it was actually the little tang on the other side of it. It just didn't have enough tension on it to be making a good contact, so I just bent that tang down a bit, put it all back together, and then that seemed to do the trick, and it was all reading normally after that. So I got 12.1, which is the full position, and then I can cycle it all the way through and it goes up to 77, and there's no breaks in it. It's working smoothly, so I'm happy with that. This is a one wire sensor, so it grounds through the tank and then back to the battery, which is potentially problematic. You'll see the issue I seem to be having a little bit later with that, but I think I might have a workaround. So what I've done now is connected it into the wiring, and then I can look on the Race Studio 3 where you configure the dash, and then I can move the sender up and down, and then just check that I'm getting from 0 to half a volt, 0 to 500 millivolts, and keep it to half a volt, just so that you've got minimal voltage in the tank. And then I just use a oil filter wrench to get the sender in and out, which works really well. Now I'm just recreating the backing plate. You can buy these just a plain backing plate for a Mk2 Escort dash, which you can then drill and put your own gauges in. So I just basically traced what was in there and then took all the information on the dash dimensions off of the AIM website. You can download that off the products page. Transferred that all across, easy as that. Like a glove. So this is my CAN connection. Basically feeds all the information from the ECU across to the dash, and then I got to do something with this, like because that's not ideal. That's the mounting plate. Self-tapered straight in. Nice. And that goes straight through to the wheel well there. You can see there's daylight through there because that's basically the wheel well, so all the mud and water and crap's going to be flicking straight onto the back of that, which is ideal. So I'll just show you this is a good lesson in how not to mount any electronics into any vehicle ever. I've drilled those holes out and put some riv nuts in there, which you can see, which I will completely cover in sealer so that it's watertight, but that's where the holes were coming through those screws, so all the water flicking straight up off the tyre anytime you go through a puddle or anything was literally straight onto the back of those. So you had a moisture path directly to the back of the ECU there, and that's the plate bolted in solidly and should stop it flopping around. Right, so I have rewrapped a few bits, rewired a couple of little bits, got rid of a lot of the sort of junk that didn't need to be there. The ECU's fixed nice and solid. This is all sort of tied up out of the way, and yeah, I've fixed that little relay block to the bulkhead there, so all the covers can go back in, glove box can go back in. The connection wire here is going to come out into the back of the glove box rather than just onto the floor. And then I have moved those switches. I've moved those switches so that they're not sticking out the front of the ashtray anymore, and they'll be sort of hidden, well not hidden, but underneath there, a little bit more stealthy. And then I can get a new ashtray, replace that missing switch, and then you won't really see anything different or suspect anything in the front. That's the port for the for configuring the dash there, where the choke pull used to be. That there is the CAN expansion. If you've seen any of my other installs, you can plug essentially like a expander plug into that and have 4, 8, 10 of those, and then all the different AIM devices can go into there. So I can put the GPS into that. So I'll have all the lap timing stuff and everything that goes with that as well. So I can get all this back together now. Alright, that's everything back together. Looking sweet. So the only thing that's not quite working as it should is it's difficult to get it to focus on the screen. This is my fuel level, it's like percentage full. For some reason that is reading different when the engine's running. And it's looking like that is because it's just a one wire sensor, and I think the ground is causing an issue. I'm going to have to try and either completely isolate the fuel tank from the ground and then run another wire, or what I've done at the minute is just put a 50% like reduction on the value there so that it essentially reads correctly. But everything else seems to be working as it should. Right, so what you can see here is that I am into my Link ECU with no lock on it. If you watched the last video, you'll know that this had been password protected. I think there was a few people confused about whether it was locked by the manufacturer, which it's not. It had been locked by the person that had tuned it. And there was always an option to completely wipe it back to a clean slate, but then obviously you've got a car that doesn't run and has no information whatsoever in it, so you've then got to basically start from scratch and do it all again, which is a lot of work if it's already been done once and it's a running car. So anyway, this has been password protected. It's now had the password removed. I found a clever chap that was able to remove it for a reasonable fee. So yeah, I mean, it's just an aftermarket ECU password, so it's not like it was hacking into a military database, but I mean, some people are able to do that as well, so yeah. Anyway, I'm in now, so I'll be able to see what secrets were hiding in here. Not that I actually know what I'm looking at. I know enough to be dangerous, as they say. Based on my knowledge, I would say there's a few odd things on there, but I'm not going to comment on it yet. But yeah, it's good to be in and able to do everything that I want to do with it. So we've got the dash all in, we've got the wiring sorted out, got the switches a little bit more hidden, just to give it a bit more of that sleeper look. Got to say thanks to AIM as always, long-term channel sponsor, helped me out with all my projects. Massive thanks to them. If you're interested in any of this kit, there's links in the description. Yeah, there's so much you can do with it. It's so expandable and there's so much stuff you can add. So yeah, it's a real nice addition to this car. I'll continue playing around with that fuel sender. Everything works like a normal dash. Next job on the list is going to be making some front caster adjustable anti-roll bar brackets, and then I can do the front wheel alignment, and then that should have it all sort of driving how I want it to. But yeah, that is going to be it for this one. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one.